Hello everyone, welcome back to Thailand MICE Virtual Expo, the River of the New Era. I'm Hani Cholapansa Narula, back here with our next topic, which is digital world, connecting with easier life. As you all know, businesses are embracing technology more and more these days in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, and with the advancement in the digital side of things, ladies and gentlemen, we see that life has been made easier, not only for customers, but also for business entrepreneurs. So whether you're tech savvy or slow in adoption, it can't be denied that this is actually a very exciting time for transformation and also for benefiting from the new innovations. So the topic today, ladies and gentlemen, will be joined by experts from Thailand's digital sphere who will be sharing their thoughts on the matter. So I'm very happy to introduce you to our guest speakers, Dr. Tarit Nimmanwudipong, General Manager of True Digital Park, and Kun Parote Denskoon, Co-founder and CEO of ZIPEVENT. สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. And of course, True Digital Park is Asia's, I would say, tech and startup hub at the Bangkok Cyber District. So we're very happy to be here and hosting the event at your venue. So to begin, let's talk about the importance of technology. We know that it's absolutely important in driving businesses today. So this very first question I'd like to ask Kun Tarit, can you tell us more about True Digital Park and of course its roles in connecting us with digital life?
Yes, of course. I think this complex True Digital Park, it has been built to serve probably the most important purpose of building the new tech startup hub for the country. And with hope that one day we will nurture so many new innovations, so many new digital talents, so many new companies that spin out of this complex and drive Thailand into the digital era smoothly and create a new GDP of Thailand and make Thailand a little bit better every day as it goes. And we think that with this kind of complex that we are building, with this kind of community of the new digital talents that we are trying to groom and assemble them, we think that it naturally merged the world outside of this complex into this world and adopt all the available technology to change their lives and businesses.
Mm-hmm. So currently it is a smart city in the heart of town.
In a way.
And
yes.
It has a complete system for startups.
Yes, of course.
And with us is Kun Parote or Kun Jay with ZIPEVENT, and I'm certain that you're one of the solid partners as a Thai startup, a solid partner with True. Mm-hmm. So I believe that your company is an all-in-one event management platform for offline and online events and has won many awards, ladies and gentlemen, including the Rising Star Award from the Krungsi Rise Accelerator Program, and then you represented Thailand at the Seoul International Invention Fair, or SIIF, where you won a silver prize as well, and ZIPEVENT is also the platform developer for Thailand MICE Virtual Expo. So give us some more background of your company and also your thoughts on the significance of technology these days, narrowing it down to business events.
All right. So as a developer and as a startup, a tech provider, so in the past, we start from seeing the opportunities and the pain point in the event or MICE industry. We saw that there are a lot of pain points that are going on, like visitors are very hard to find events and stuff like that. And on the organizer side, they're hard to organize. There are so many tasks they need to accomplish during the events. So we came in to help on that. So we start from building the solution and service for offline event first. And then after COVID, we were hit very hard. Mm-hmm. So we shift and start to do the online event and online conferences, as well as virtual event, like you're experiencing in this kind of features. And then we see a lot of events and users joining our virtual event platform because it's a way that can help the industry going forward. And apart from that, as you know that Thai people adapt to technology very fast, right? So everybody wake up with a mobile phone in their hands. They go to sleep, holding the mobile phone in their hand as well. So it's really we are very social addicted, I would say. And everyone is being on Facebook, being on Instagram, and I see that as an opportunity for business owners or entrepreneurs because that's the way that we can, if we understand the user journey, understand what they're thinking, is the best way that we can provide a solution and go into the journey that can map and match with the current, lifestyle and experience they're using.
I see. Interesting times, I would say.
Yes.
Now, coming back with technology being an important business accelerator, how has Thailand innovated using digital technology during the new normal era?
I think in many ways, look at us today. So we are, chatting to each other on the online platform, which it would be so far away if the COVID didn't happen. So I take that as opportunities instead of being a crisis, right? And apart from the fast migration of offline to online in any kind of business, I think the adoption of any new technology in the real sectors, it has been enormous. I think all the sectors have been disrupted. Look at the fintech these days. People do not pay offline as much as before anymore, and the e-wallet is very normal these days to use, and it has penetrated to all the parts of Thailand, not only Bangkok, I'm sure, right? Look at other sectors like meetings. So for the business meeting, it happens online all the time, and people start getting used to it in a very comfortable way. So and this has also been adopted by the seniors in the society as well. It's not only the techie, the nerdy, the youngs anymore. So it did really change the game, change the landscape, and change the nature of Thai people.
Kun Jay, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I would like to add to Dr. Tarit that apart from video conferencing, you can see that right now we are using a lot of e-commerce, a lot of food delivery. So for myself, right now when I go to work, I don't go out to eat anymore. I just open an app and deliver, and suddenly a nice, delicious meal has come to my doorstep. So it's a great way to addition to the technology that has played an important and significantly important in our life. And I would like to give another example about like Clubhouse. Have you guys heard of Clubhouse, right? So you can see that Thai people they're very adaptive to new technology and new platform.
It's the hype these days.
Yes, so everybody is in the Clubhouse, right? So in the evening, everybody just open and while they drive, they go to listen to it. So basically, for if you don't know about Clubhouse, basically it's like a live podcast where you can join and listen to groups of people talking and sharing about technology, about investment, about lifestyle, about music. There have been some group that they're performing music in that. So I think it's a very new platform where we adapt very fast to these
voice, no visuals.
Yes, but it's only voice, in which it's very, very, it's a new platform and has a very new, interesting marketing way so that it keeps the element of being exclusivity. So you can invite only, and it grows very fast in Thai culture right now, especially in Bangkok.
So we are changing and transforming really fast, as you've said. But the use of technological developments, has it resulted in improvements in business, especially productivity, cost savings, operational efficiency, on that side of things? Could you share some thoughts, Dr. Tarit?
Yeah, I think for me, it depends on who you ask, right? So if you're talking about a public mass, I think the technology just helps them to connect to the others while they cannot travel and while the social distancing measure is inactive. And it also helps solve the health and well-being condition during this, like a Clubhouse. So it makes people a little bit more comfortable to talk to each other in this kind of new platform and new kind of interactions. It probably doesn't help on the productivity or cost saving as much. I think it helps the normal people a little bit more on the survival side, help them get to the right aids, help them get to the right, use cases of this technology. But if you talk to the business guys, if you talk to the real sector, yes, of course, and I think a little bit more on the cost saving side. And they just try to find the new revenue streams in a way. And sadly, by replacing headcounts, they can use this kind of technology to boost up their revenue while cutting the cost. And that's real. And we need to adapt to that as well. As much as it helps, it also kills some opportunity in the past. So yes, people have to adapt, and technology does help change the game and does help improve the performance. But a lot more to learn and a lot more to adapt, I think.
So you have to find the right balance.
Yes, the balance is key, I think.
For the events business, how are things like? How are operators embracing the digital offerings, to seek to achieve operational efficiency?
All right, so for us as a technology provider, so we have worked with various kind of event organizers, and basically what we have seen in the past from the COVID era. So normally, like for last year in April, where COVID just spread a lot, and we have to close the town, there's no one daring to hold any events, right? Because no one can go out at home. There won't be anyone who's attending. And I've seen that a lot of organizers, a lot of corporate has shifted and has pivoted to not only organize the offline, because eventually those kind of organizer or corporate still have their marketing budget, but they don't know where to spend, right? Because they cannot hold any offline activities anymore. So they move into online spaces. Like we can see that from that they have like online live Facebook to sell their brands, to sell their stuff like that, and we have worked with them to doing the live streaming, like we have done with some banks. They normally have like clients, investor, which is like the high net worth. So they have like offline events to have them join. And we help them with providing platform where it's very secure, because you need to be the bank's client first to be able to join and watch the live streaming, which the content would be like very, very specifically designed to those high network. So I think that's a way where business can adapt technology in terms of like how can they still communicate and still reach out to the same client that they're normally participating or interacting with. And that in a way has reduced the cost because normally when an organizer needs to hold one event, it means that they need to rent a space, right? A lot of people to join, they need to provide them with a break, a lunch or coffee break. And in that part has, comparing to using the live streaming and online, it helps save costs a lot for that corporate or organizer, while still be able to engage and still be able to connect with their current customer. I think virtual event or online event has a lot of benefits, because we not only they help saving costs, but they can also have a limitless opportunity where users can join from anywhere of the world anytime they want. So I think that's a key where technology can help the industry. And not only that, it occurred because of COVID, but COVID helped accelerate this, because we have seen in the past that organizers want to adapt, but there's no time that they need to learn about this. They are doing everything offline, but COVID accelerated this process, and they can kind of adapt to this faster. And I think in the future they will adapt to this kind of technology and being hybrid event.
You mentioned about communication earlier. I read somewhere that a lot of companies went through a communication crisis because they don't have effective channels to reach out to customers. So through events, offline, online and hybrid events, so this has been a channel where they get out their messages to their clients.
Exactly.
Now, as for helping connect and engage in the new normal events, Kunjay, what you've mentioned, it looks like it is in fact helping connect, and there is more engagement. At the same time, there are also concerns that the engagement is sometimes not enough, not being able to keep hold of the customers. Although online events are good during these times, but they say it can't replace face-to-face, meetings. So what are your views on this? Is it a challenge as well?
Exactly. As I've been like doing tons of events, so engagement is like number one things that we're trying to improve each day that we're doing. Because as you know that when people come together in an offline event, there's nothing to do besides joining the event and participating and interacting, right? But once they're sitting at home, they might open their virtual event like this, and sometimes,
distracted.
yes, they're distracted. Their babies will be crying, they may be hungry. So there's a lot of distractions. So as an organizer, I think you need to design a journey, an experience where you can keep them engaged. Like for example, I have done one event where the organizers, have games for the audience to play all the time. They can, answering through the chat message, chat channels to give the awards, for example, so that in a way they can still engage and still providing the best content, because the number one magnet is that you need to have a great content where people can sit along and listening until like from the beginning to the end. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting challenge that we need to overcome. But in the future, I think as we grow and grow more, like developing more features and learning more about the users, we will adapt to that and then can answer these questions better. Yeah, I think it's still in the experimenting period as well.
So Dr. Tarit, what do you think about this, and are there other setbacks that you see that needs to be addressed as well?
I think it's all about the content. I think if the content is interesting enough and if it has something to do with the audience, they will need to pay attention anyway. I think these days there are a lot of online events that the topic is probably a little bit too general, a little bit not going into details, and for the sake of trying to stay present in this kind of virtual world, we have to do this kind of online events. But the content itself of those events are not, to the heart of people, not the thing that people want to hear or want to attend, right? You look at the clubhouse. I mean, some of the rooms, I don't have to mention it. It's very edgy, it's a very risky topic, right? And we don't want to talk about that, but it clicks what people wants to hear or want to interact. And without adapting or anything, people go to that kind of
It's just like natural.
Yeah.
It's beyond expectation.
Yeah, so the content is still king. And I think like for the event organizers or for the event developer, you need to have a great
something like that, which is, I think, because we didn't design, the content to be as very, very, straightforward and attracts to the heart of the listener, because they might want to listen to only one session, while the remaining doesn't, ring the bells when they see the topics. So I think it's very challenging. Apart from building the great content, the platform needs to be very easy and intuitive to use as well. Yes. I think that's another main factor.
Ease of use is key.
Yeah.
Let me get back to the thing you mentioned about the trends. We spoke about voice tech, and through Clubhouse, it looks like it's an upcoming trend. What are the other trends, new features, platforms to look out for, that will help redefine business events in 2021 and beyond?
It is. I don't know yet, because if I know, I'll be a millionaire already. but I think from the hot trend that you're seeing, people will try to build the ecosystem businesses around it, and trying to capture 24 hours of life of the customer that they are targeting. So let's say voice text. If you say that Clubhouse is a platform for the future, it captures only a part of the day of people, right? So let's see what Clubhouse gonna bring to the table, to capture more attention and try to monetize from it. I think they need to build, the adjacent pieces around their core product, and then it becomes like the cluster of their, ecosystem product. I think that's my view.
Kun Jay?
All right, for me, I think apart from doing the online and virtual, I think adding more the realistics to the event, will be a very important part because, as you mentioned that online cannot replace offline, but how can we make the online event as equally adapt and equally, feature rich comparing to offline event? Like for example, in this event, we also have like business matchings where I think most of the time people go to exhibitions or conferences because they need to have like connections to business matchings, right? In that way, we're trying to, set up the business matching so that people can actually meet. So we embed the chats and video calling so that people, once they want to, connect, they can instantly talk to each other. So we're trying to break the barrier as much as possible, and that's the technology that we're trying to develop apart from just being an online and with webinars and conferences. And I think seeing in the future there might be like some kind of more technology. Like in one session that we mentioned about the concert, right?
Yeah, AR,
Travis.
VR.
I'm sitting here and I know the name of the artist.
You knew the musician's name?
Yes.
You should have shouted
Travis.
out.
Yeah,
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott. Actually, for that concert, I've seen in the video as well. Yeah, so it's in a game, where called Fortnite, where the audience can actually be in the game and dancing around with the music of the Travis. And I think that's one way where the event industry will be going forward. But that's for the entertainment, right? But for business, still the objective and the core things for this kind of business of events is that they need to have like connections and business coming out of the event. So we're trying to likewise for this part, we're trying to do like business matchings and trying to help making people being to connect and develop a business after their event.
But you think hybrid events will still be key in 2021?
Exactly, because for hybrid, you can see that there's a lot of shift in the event right nowadays. So people not only do event offline, but they know that when they broadcast out, like for example, if I have like a home event, like home and building events in Bangkok for 10 days, I might attract like 100,000 people. But if I extend into the virtual event, I might gain, audience from around the country of 1 million people. And that's the cost comparing to renting a venue for 10 days is much, much more cheaper. Yeah, so I think that's an opportunity where organizers start to see that this is an opportunity going forward because not only the content is, sit and goes away in the event, but they can extend those kind of contents and have people from any place, anywhere in the world to join.
And is the trend of digital marketing changing as well these days?
Yes, I think so.
Becoming more like social, like conversational?
Yeah, I think the society is driven by data more and more. I mean, both lifestyle, work style, shopping, everything. So yes, and I think the landscape of this marketing is changing so fast that all the marketeers have to keep up actually.
There's a lot of work.
Yes.
I mean,
exactly.
With technology, it evolves really fast, you're always on your toes.
Yeah.
All right, now, I'd like you to share any particular examples or case studies that you have in mind of a country applying digital technology effectively to drive the country forward or even to propel the country out of a crisis. Who'd like to go first?
Yeah, I can. I think people have been looked up to Estonia, for example. I mean, the e-government is really strong, and I mean, if you want to know about it, I think you can Google it. It's everywhere, and but there's a factor to that. I mean, the reason why they're so successful because the country is small, and to do the mass implementation is probably a little bit more handy to deploy some of the technologies. I mean, we can look at that as an example and try a little bit of here and then see how it goes, right? I think Thai government has been doing a great job on rolling out all these applications for the various purpose, and people, I mean, they have to live with that, right? So it's a forced improvement of digital literacy in the country anyway. So I think that's great for the e-government side. I mean, for a little bit smaller scale, I think I've seen all the leading university, in, let's say, US, I mean, they have no choice, but they cannot have all their students fly in, right, to attend a new class. So they roll out the online courses, and I think it has become okay so far. And I think all the students abroad, they have to change their mindset. All the parents have to change their mindset, and they will need to live with the new normal that, okay, the further education, they are almost online now. And I mean, God knows what's going to happen next. But I think the hybrid is here to stay. Like Kuntaro said, I think people cannot afford not to be able to do the hybrid form of meetings and classes and events. Yeah, I think that's my example.
So that's going to remain.
Yeah.
That's your forecast. Kun Jae?
All right, so for me, I would give the case study of Taiwan. So, you might have heard of Audrey Tang, the Minister of Digital. So when the COVID started, she implemented a system where their population, Taiwanese population, can see which drugstores have appropriate amount of masks. So you can look out for, if you want to purchase some masks, there will be data available to you to see. You don't need to go and rush yourself to the supermarket or to really grab on masks. And once the medicine is out, she developed a system where you can track and register for given the medicine as well. So I think this is a way that if the government has done correctly, they can use the data as well as a platform to help the citizens and population in that country. And another example I'll give is that, right now, the TZEP, working with us as a startup, a technology provider, I think it's very good things for government to do, because not only that, you can work with and being supportive to the local startup, but it can, combine the strength of the government and the startup together. And I think that if government can, implement this and work with startup and technology provider, it can bring the benefits to the people.
So that's Estonia and places like Taiwan.
Yeah, and
But
Thailand.
Thailand, just going to ask you, Thailand also has innovated quite a bit. COVID-19 has been a great accelerator in terms of digital transformation. So the next question is, the advantages you see that Thailand already has that we can capitalize on, or the MICE sector can capitalize on in order to be globally competitive?
Yeah, I think Thailand still has a good brand name as a center of MICE industry, at least for this region, right? And with the new capability that is built by the private sector, by the public sector, all combined, led by TZEP in this case, I think we are ready for the next era already. And I think we can still, shout out to the region and shout out to the world that we are ready for this. And yeah, we have to capitalize on it, because Thailand has suffered so much already from the COVID, and I think MICE is one of the answers that can reboot Thailand in this case.
Now, our readiness in terms of what? Infrastructure,
Yes.
creative output.
Yeah, I think we
Would
are.
you like to make a sale?
Not so much, but yeah, I think we are moving into the 5G era, right? And all the operators are trying their best to roll out this as fast as possible, and that would empower all of this, online broadcasting, live events, and then Thai businesses can capture, like Kuntaro said, not only Thai people as their customer, but these days wider than that, broader than that, right? The region citizen or the global citizens can be their customer as well. So yes, this is the right moment for the MICE industry to capitalize on what we can do and what we can do in the future. Yeah.
Kun Jae.
Yeah, I think our uniqueness is that we are very has a great hospitality, right, and have a very talented, creative people here. So I think in that way we can utilize those kind of uniqueness into the MICE and virtual world, because as I have done many events from Thailand and I have customers from Singapore, from India as well, comparing the event in Thailand, we are trying to give them the hospitality that when they arrive and offline, they can give that, they can be provided with the hospitality as well. Like for example, when we do a conferencing, the first thing we did to them is that we smile, right? Our smile is like a thing to open up the great conversation. I think that kind of hospitality and creative can be applied into MICE industry as well.
Interesting indeed. Now, as for your suggestions in moving forward, in this age where digital technology has become very important in driving businesses and people's way of life, what would be your suggestions?
Me first? Okay, so for me, I think the moving forward would be using the technology to help with the events, as I mentioned. So I'd like to give an example that I've done in the past. So could you please show up the slide?
Slides coming up.
All right. Okay, so this is TZEP event happening right now, right? So this is a platform where you can log in, register, log in, and go to various parts. And it's not limited only into like spaces like in the offline event. So we can using the rivers, which is like the main theme of this event, right? And this design can align with overall TZEP branding and experiences, in which apart from that, you can go to like webinars that you're watching right now, you can go to business matchings, you can go to event spaces where you can meet with hotels, startups doing technology about MICE, in which it's a very interesting platform because when you go and go to offline event, you normally have to walk to elsewhere, right? That might be like a hall, 10 hall you need to walk across, but this you can navigate using a click instantly. So what we're trying to drive is that we're trying to put together the features that is happening actually in offline event into the online. Right, so and I would like to showcase apart from TZEP, we have done events about startups as well by NIA, in which startups can showcase their booth and pitching to the investors, so that investors can learn about their startups more and give them the investment. We have done the smart city event, in which as you can see that the design will be totally in the sky, it's flying in the sky. So as you can see that is no limit to the design and the creativity utilizing this. And this is one of the smart energy transformation Asia that we have done. So you can for the energy, which is a very, very hot science topic, it can also be done in this way as well. The medical conferences. So you can see that each industry can adapt and apply to doing this kind of virtual event as well. Or even it's construction materials, where each island represent each materials in their own. And government award ceremony can also be done in the platform as well. So showcasing the booth, and you can see in the right, in the military department, where you can showcase like their branding and what they have done in the past to receive the award as well. And not only from that, we can do the entertainment industry. So to summarize, okay, so that's basically about my presentation. But as a summarize, so any industry can adapt virtual event or online event to their needs. Whether it's like connecting with brands using like business matchings or exhibitions, or connecting with the fans using your online platform like concert and stuff like that.
I see. So this is like basically for the virtual platform. Now let's take a look at the situation right now. Before we had the second outbreak, but it looks like things have been improved, restrictions have been lifted, and a lot of jobs or a lot of MICE events are in fact coming back. So in the next couple of weeks or perhaps couple of months, there could be more hybrid events. So the question will be, if you were to suggest companies who would like to organize events, how would you design events that will provide excellent, virtual plus in-person, meetings? How would you do that?
Okay. Actually, for doing a great hybrid event, the first thing that you need to consider is that how to giving the experience of the offline and online at once, right? So maybe there might be some booth exhibitors actually in the booth, in the hall, but along the way, if there's matching requests.
This will be physical exhibitions.
Yes, if it's a physical exhibition plus an online or virtual element to that. In this way, exhibitors need to be on top of the game of both offline and online. You know, they need to stay, like they need to go exhibitions and divide some manpower to be in the online as well. So I think going forward, both the organizers, the exhibitors need to, you know, work best in the both worlds, because there's coming opportunity in both forms. Like there might be people coming to your booth offline, but there might be someone trying to chat with you online as well. And that, I think, in my opinion, open a great opportunity for event and MICE industry.
I see. But then again, what are the consumers looking for? Have you had a chance to do some research?
Okay, yes. Actually, for consumers, I think it's very basic because, like for example, when I go to maybe Mobile Expo, I will need to buy something, right? I need to find something fast. So in a consumer or user's point of view, they want to get what they want as fast as possible using like the technology. Like for example, I want to buy a mobile phone. How can I know which mobile phone the best suits me? And if I have a question, is there any assistant that I can talk to? Like, because like in real life, when you go to the booth, there is like a PCs coming to you, right? They will explain, this is a good mobile. They have like these specs and they, this kind of that stuff, right? I think this kind of experience need to be going to the online as well. Because at the final thoughts, I think users still need what they need. Whether it's online or offline, they still have their demands. Like whether it's products, services, knowledge, connections, and stuff like that. It's still the same.
Now back to Kun Tarit. For True Digital Park, what are your directions working with businesses to foster digital innovation, to strengthen the competitiveness and also capabilities of people in the digital world? Because we hear about upskilling, reskilling, not enough digital manpower, things like that. You know, being the technology hub, you know, in the region, what are your strategies?
I think we are trying to listen to the customer as much as possible at the moment. I mean, we actually have been doing that and trying to adapt ourselves by preparing all the necessary infrastructure and technology available to us, or by partnering with the key players, like ZIPEVENT, for example, and get ready to be able to, you know, tailor-made whatever that our customer wants. I mean, in terms of the events, we have quite a broad range of the spaces that can cater to their needs. So if you want to have a meeting of 2 people, yes, we can do. If you want to have a town hall for the 50 people company, we can also do. I have been doing a large conference in the hybrid mode that can serve thousands of companies, thousands of the joiners as well. So, and that is only possible by the technology that we're preparing, or the live broadcasting, or the equipments, or the necessary digital talents behind, you know, all the monitors and all behind the screens. Those are very important, and we are preparing all of those. And at this point, True Digital Park, I'm proud to tell you that it is approved at the special venue by TCEP, by their standards. So we are proud of that, we are very, you know, let's put this, we are ready to serve any kind of hybrid events. Just ask. Come to truedigitalpark.com and you're going to see a lot of information there.
I see. Now, pre-COVID, I'm sure that this has been a pretty buzzing place, but you know, once the pandemic is over, post-COVID, how are you looking at things, you know, with Bangkok Cyber District? Would it be able to draw in more startups, more capital, knowledge, talents?
Yes, I think so.
And from where?
At the moment, in our complex, True Digital Park, we have assembled more than 100 startups and more than 30 tech corporates, not mentioning all the government entities that work with us, and also the venture capitalists and universities. And every day when I walked in, before COVID, I see people more than 5,000 coming to work every day. And when the COVID hit, it went down a lot, right? These days, probably you see about 1,000 or 2,000 people at max. But I think that the sky gonna reopen again. I mean, as a matter of we speaking right now, I think the first dose of vaccine entered Thailand
Already
today.
arrived,
Very
yes.
good
Good
news,
news.
right? And I think it's gonna be, uphill battle from now, but things gonna be better. And I think that people will look for the opportunities. And the motto of True Digital Park is one roof, all possibilities. We are trying to, build and provide new opportunities when you want to start your new business, when you want to realize your ideas into the real business, we want to make it happen here. So I expect the comebacks of people, and we expect to draw attention from the startup more and more.
So Thailand is more than just a destination for travel.
Of
It's
course.
a place for MICE events. Please come. It's a place for startups as well to launch their businesses here.
Yeah.
Kun Jay, the question about upskilling and reskilling human resources, I'd like you to share your thoughts on this as well, particularly in the events industry.
Yes. As a company founder myself, and when we previously, before COVID, what we're doing is normally serving the offline and physical events, right? So our staff and our employee normally know about how the physical events are functioning. But once the COVID hit us in the April last year, we need to reskill and train our staff to be able to know about all the live streaming, how the online events can be done, how the virtual event can be done, as well as trying to develop and learn and understand about our customer, whether this solution will fit with their needs or not. So I think that's a very important part. If you are in the event industry or MICE industry, one of the very important aspects and resource is the human, because all of these can be done from human, right? The best technology needs a great human to run it and operate it. Otherwise, a technology will be just, a technology without any users. So I think this is very important because going forward, I think not only for my company, but every company need to adapt to the changing world, this very, very fast moving forward world, where there might be some more Clubhouse apps coming, and we need to learn and adapt and see, then capture the opportunity.
Okay, please don't come out that fast because I'm already having sleepless nights, always checking for topics
Yes,
to be
me
part
too.
of this social clubhouse. Now, we have actually a few more seconds left, so before we say goodbye, let me touch on this issue. Thailand's Global Innovation Index.
Right.
We have been doing pretty good so far.
Better and better?
But to climb up the ladder, what would be the suggestions that you would have for Thailand?
I think two things. First thing is the digital talents. We need many more of them. And I think both private and public sectors are trying so hard to build this pool, to enlarge this pool. That's the first one. The second one is all the regulations and all the incentives. I think we need to unlock all the potentials as much as we can and empower the startups, the smaller guys, the SMEs. We have so many of them that has so many capability to help Thailand moving forward. But these days they either don't know how to do it and who to give them help, or they struggle with some red tapes. And I'm sure that everyone see and everyone knows. So it's a time to join hands and it's a time to unlock them. Yeah.
Would you like to pass on any message to our viewers, our audience out there, perhaps to boost confidence? With Thailand being a premier MICE destination,
All right.
and all the services we have through ZIP.
Okay. All right. So as you can see, that I think the situation will be getting better and better, but still, you need to prepare yourself for the unknowns in the future. But going forward, I think we have learned a lot. We have been through a lot of obstacles, a lot of hard times. I think in the future, it will be getting better and better. But in the way, I think at the end, you need to be prepared and ride the wave.
All right. Be prepared, ride the wave, and weather the storm together.
Yes.
And that's all the time we have today. Thank you very much to our speakers, Dr. Tarit Nimmanwudipong, General Manager of True Digital Park, and Mr. Parote Denskoon, or Kun Jay, co-founder and CEO of ZIPEVENT. event. You are watching Thailand MICE Virtual Expo, and this has been a discussion on digital technology, connecting with easier life, part of the event hosted by Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau. Well, we're here to help you redefine your business. And we'll now take a short break. Up next, we do have more coming up. The next topic will take a look at health and wellness. It's how Thailand can thrive in the new normal with Kun Warin Sachdev. And I'll be back at 6 p.m. with the logistics webinar. So from all of us here, thank you very much for joining and have a great one. Sawasdee ka. Thank you.